Okay, good morning, everybody. Chief John Majoy from the Newburgh Heights Police Department. I'm also the chairman of the Northeast Ohio Amber Alert Committee and the president of the Board of Directors for Cleveland Missing. This morning's press conference, we're here to talk about the Amber Alert that is still active from June of 2023 involving Keyshawn Williams. If everybody remembers, there was a missing persons report started on June 17th, and then an Amber Alert followed up several days later, and it still remains an active alert to date. One of the things we want to focus on today is that there still is a reward of up to $22,500 for information leading to Keyshawn's whereabouts. Now, one of the keys to this is that the reward money can remain anonymous. And so if there is someone out there who has information and you are reluctant to come forward for your own safety or something like that, we can guarantee that your identity will remain anonymous. And so you are welcome to come forward. I want to emphasize the United States Marshal Service and the Cleveland Division of Police are working very hard on this case. If you have any information whatsoever, you can call 1-866, the number 4, and then wanted. That's 866, the number 4, and wanted. I think that there's a side of this that we also want to emphasize on today, and that is that there's a family out there that's hurting, and we need to help. And when I say we, I don't mean Cleveland Missing, I don't mean law enforcement. I need everybody who is watching this, who sees this, to know that we all need to come together to try to find Keyshawn and bring him home to his mom. In a few minutes, Mom's going to come up here and she's going to talk about her purview of the case and how things are progressing. We want to thank the local media for their support during the last several months since this has begun. You've been fantastic to work with, and we appreciate you all being here today. This is really important for the family. This is really important for us as an organization, and we really, really want to hope that we can bring him home soon. That said, I'm going to introduce Sharice Snowden, and with her is going to be Sergeant Halaska from the Newburgh Heights Police Department. If you folks want to step up.
First of all, I just wanted to say it's been almost over a year since my son been gone, and this is completely disgusting. I want to reach out to the community to let you guys know this can be any one of your kids. I need my son to come back home. This social media gang, this misleading stories is getting ridiculous, and I know y'all know something. So I don't know who got y'all scared to say something, but what's done in the dark is going to come to the light. I need my child to show up, not today, not tomorrow, right now, because I know somebody knows something. This is supposed to be about unity and about mindfulness, kindness, and it's just like, I don't understand why nobody would come forward and say something. This is a 17-year-old underage kid that's out here unsupervised. No more of the back and forth. I need to know where Keyshawn is. If y'all know something, you can remain anonymous. It doesn't matter who said what, I need to know. Somebody knows something. If somebody out there have a heart, please, whoever my child is with, please return my child. He is underage. He has no business being out here without his parent. This is crazy. It's not safe. It's not cool. If anybody knows something, please come forward today. Keyshawn, if you're watching this, I love you, and I'm going to find you, and I'm going to get you home safe. Thank you.
Can we ask you any questions? Or no? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for those heartfelt comments. As everybody can see, there's a family that's hurting here, and again, this is going to take all of us, and not just law enforcement, not just Cleveland Missing, but everybody who sees this. Please come forward. 1-866, the number 4, and wanted. That is the United States Marshal Service. They're working closely with the Cleveland Division of Police, and they're looking for your tips. There's $22,500 in reward monies for this case. Please, if you know something, if you heard something, if you're not sure, no tip is too small, please call, make that call. Sometimes it's all it takes is one little acute incident, but I will tell you that we are not giving up hope in this case. We're not giving up hope. We've seen it in other cases. Our co-founder, Gina DeJesus, we've seen this in other cases, so we want to let the public know, please come forward and please help us. I'll take any questions that you might have. Start, Brad.
Are there active tips going on still, or are they dried up? Talk about some of the, where you're at now, right now, the tips.
So I have spoken with the Marshal Service, and they do get tips. And every tip that comes in, they follow up on. And in fact, we received a tip here several months ago that was passed on to the Marshal Service and Cleveland Police Department. And so they do come in. But what really helps is that when people share this, when they see this story, every time that there has been a media story, we start to get calls. And that is so important. So, social media is one of our biggest assets here. Take this story and share it, because maybe they didn't see the press conference, maybe they didn't get a chance to watch the news. Share this story with your contacts, and please do that, because nobody ever wants to be in the shoes that this mother is in. And so put yourself in her shoes for just a quick minute. What would you want people to do? And you would want their help. They could be strangers, and it's fine, because we're all good people. We just need your help.
Can you recap the circumstances the last time he was seen?
So,
Hours leading up to the last,
as much as I can share is that he was out with some friends on the evening of June 17th. And originally when the Amber Alert was broadcasted, there was a suspected vehicle that was purported to have been involved in that. The investigation later showed that that was not involved, but that's not too terribly uncommon in an investigation where there's rabbit holes, if you will. And so we will go and follow up on every lead that we can possibly get as law enforcement. So he was out with some friends. It's my understanding that Cleveland has spoken with his friends. I don't know to what extent. I can't speak too in-depth to the investigation because it's not our investigation. We are supporting the family, but all the same, I do believe that they're actively following all these leads every time that they come in.
and city and streets, whereabouts?
So the last known location was on Fleet Avenue in the 50s, the 60s area, not too terribly far from here. And so there has been some canvassing done. We've sent out posters and everything else. There are flyers up at a number of locations. I look for us to probably do one of those again this spring. Again, just to keep the story alive, bring some awareness to this. All it takes is that one tip. Let's go to Brad.
The last time we talked, there was a frustration with the lack of any tips whatsoever, a lack of any leads. Have there been any sightings? Has there been any inkling as to where he might be?
There have not been any sightings that I'm aware of and that has been shared. And I do agree with you, the sense of frustration, because somebody knows something. That is inevitable. Somebody does. And it's a matter of getting to that person, whether they told somebody, the telephone line game, but somebody knows something, and those are the folks we need to come forward.
I know this isn't your investigation, but do they still think he's somewhere in Northeast Ohio, or are we past that point? Could he be elsewhere?
We have no reason to think that he has left the state at this point. However, again, we're not ruling out anything at this point.
Also, Sharice had mentioned some frustration with social media. You talked about it being a tool, but it can also be really frustrating for a parent. Can you give a message to anyone out there who's messing around with this?
Yeah, I can, and that is that maybe you follow the golden rule and do unto others as you would have done to yourself. Would you want someone going and throwing your family under the bus, talking negatively about your family, or embellishing on a story and casting blame? Really, nothing really matters. He's missing. He's missing. The circumstance and everything else, he is missing. And we just want to bring him home. And so people that go, and we've seen this in other cases. We've seen this in the Amanda Dean case in a very egregious state where some folks on social media have tried to look at me, they want their 5 minutes of fame, and they don't know what they're talking about, and they go and they cast a really negative light on this. And my response is, how would you feel if that was done to you? Because, that's not good people in my book. And so to try to cast blame or anything else at this point, none of that really matters. We need to find out who was with him, we need to find out what happened to him, and we need to bring him home.
My last one.
Mm-hmm.
With Gina and also Amanda, obviously we know Michelle's situation, but one of the big things was the fact that we did all of these anniversaries with them.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it to have Sharice's involvement like she's doing? Because, that's hard enough to sit up there and talk. So how impressed are you that she continues to come out?
Well, I'm very impressed. You know, and I've said this in other press conferences. I've been doing this a very long time. I don't know what it feels like. I don't. I'm not in their shoes. And I pray that nobody else ever has to walk a mile or one step in their shoes for that matter. So I think that she's got more guts than any 5 people that I know to be able to come up here under this type of stressful situation and talk about her son who's missing for like 9 months. That's a lot. You know, as a parent, I couldn't imagine, you know, a couple hours, let alone days, weeks, and months. And so I do think it's very important that we focus on the anniversaries of these things. And again, the same thing with Gina and Michelle and Amanda's case, there was a lot of press on that, and that's good. It kept the story alive. And so this is what we want to do. We're going to stay with this case as long as it takes till we bring him home safe. So again, we appreciate the media's coverage, and I appreciate the question because it takes a lot for a mom to get up here like she did. She's got a lot of courage to do that.
And I just had one question. Going back to the timeline, I know, like you said, this is not your investigation, but I just want to make sure when I'm going back and reporting this today, there was witnesses that had seen at a party that he was possibly tied up in a car. Is that still true to this day of the information that you guys have?
I don't know that to be true or not. That would be an answer to come from Cleveland or the Marshal Service. What I can say is that from the get-go, if you remember, that they had believed that there was a Jeep that was involved, like an SUV-style Jeep with a broken window out of it, and again, later the investigation turned out that it was not involved. And so, you know, any investigation is an ebb and flow. It's also rabbit holes, but that's okay because the end goal is to try to bring him home. So. Again, it's a fair question, it's a good question, but really, I don't know what the actual circumstances are, other than he's missing, and he's still missing, and we need to bring him home.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You mentioned you were gonna bring that placard up?
Yeah, so we do have a poster, we'd like to just put it up here, I can hold it up or put it in front of the podium, whichever is, okay.
You said it in front of
So I'm just gonna hold this up here. Just want to remind members of the public that this is a little bit older picture. It's been 9 months, and so there could be changes in hairstyle, growth of facial hair. You know, he as a young boy, he could be another inch or two taller, and maybe packed down and lost a couple pounds. But all the same, you know, if you see someone who resembles this individual, please call law enforcement immediately. If you have a tip, please call law enforcement immediately. And again, that number is 1-866, the number 4, and wanted for the United States Marshal Service.
Were these the ones, these type of things we had posted as flyers, this is the same thing that was posted, this type of picture and everything?
Yeah, there's been a number of different posters throughout the last 9 months, and the reason why is because we don't want folks to just hone in on one specific picture. You know, multiple purviews of it certainly helps.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief.
Everybody good? Any other questions, everybody? So again, on behalf of the Cleveland Police Department, United States Marshal Service, Cleveland Missing, Northeast Ohio Amber Alert, and of course the family of Keyshawn Williams, we thank you for coming. Please share this story as much as possible and cross our fingers that we can get a really good tip out of this. Thanks for coming, everybody, today.